Please like and subscribe to the Couch and the Rube YouTube channel. Also, download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube, our Monday show presented by our friends at Firekeepers Casino and Firekeepers Casino and Sportsbook app. Download the app, enjoy the sign-up bonuses, check out the new user interface, and start looking at football spreads. Michigan State's opener against Toledo, the Lions, whatever it might be. You want to start betting tennis, golf, do it responsibly, but I'm telling you, it's all there at Firekeepers and the Firekeepers Casino and Sportsbook app, or head on down to Daisy's Taproom and Sportsbook at Firekeepers Casino on I-94 in Battle Creek for the in-house sportsbook experience. You got the casino floor behind you, the restaurants. Nobody needs Vegas. It's right here in Michigan at Firekeepers Casino, and of course the Firekeepers Casino and Sportsbook app. Jason, how you doing, brother?
Not like sweet the national championship's on. Oh, I can't wait for this. It just happens. I just broke my chair for real. This is not because I was a big deal because he was a huge guy, and I just broke my chair.
He's got a stupid-looking face.
Let's go green. Go God.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
It's been.
You ready with your July takes?
Yeah, I don't know if I have great July takes because I get all
I
my.
know, you were so excited about it on the Couch and the Rube Twitter account last night.
Well, I was. Listeners are going to give us their July takes.
Something you've been waiting to say, but never finding the right time. Like they could have sent it whenever we read it.
I say all my dumb takes all the time. I give my July takes in April. So
right.
I have a few things. I don't know.
There's nothing to talk about.
It is
really.
It is the deadest of times. That's why
deadest of times. Yeah, that's you could say that about the Detroit Tigers organization.
But this is why our listeners are so good.
Yes,
because they do come through, and so we have some really good stuff on MSU football, the Tigers, all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. But also we've got some off the wall stuff that people have been waiting to get off their chest that I think is going to lead to some good discussion here today. Good. July takes, as we like to call them. So I'm pretty fired up to get into all.
You're
that.
Just happy that the Tigers are ass, so you can start betting.
No, I think I don't
even
know
higher.
I don't know
levels.
if I'm going to do that. I can't do it when Troy Melton's pitching. It's just it depends on.
With this bullpen, you can though.
Yeah,
because he's only going to pitch 5 innings, and then we get to this god awful.
I did take the
Scott
Royals
Harris concoction bullpen.
I did take the Royals live plus 200 the other day when they won. I mean, it was like, okay, you kidding me? Plus 200? What? And then I took them yesterday, of course, because the Royals were up 1-0.
I thought you have to watch your child though. Like, what is all this live betting coming from?
What do you?
Like every time I ask you about something, it's like, oh, she's of course, it's right on my lap. It's on my chest, in my lap here.
It's a great thing to do when you're nap trapped.
Right.
Yeah,
So you're sitting there, you have your child like on your arm, and you're firing off plus 200 against the Tigers. I mean, you know what I mean? It's just kind of, when you put it all together, the totality of it is offensive.
Is it offensive?
To me, as a Tigers fan,
okay,
who's dead inside, who hates his favorite team, who I can't think of another team I hate more right now.
As a dad, is it offensive?
Not at all. No.
By the way, today
I respect it almost.
I sneezed this morning, and I think it was the first time Cora had ever heard me sneeze, and she was like under this little, she was playing on her back, on the floor in this little thing we have, and I don't think she'd heard me sneeze, and she just, was scared shitless, for real, like she shit her pants in that moment, and I heard it, and I had to go change her, so I literally scared my daughter to the point she had to shit her pants.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's such a sweet moment.
Yeah, it was a sweet
moment.
Now,
do you grab the camera? Like, do you do a whole thing?
There are a lot of sweet moments for the camera. That's not one of them. We have a lot of great sweet moments. I don't want it to sound like I'm not a good, like I have many, I've spent the last 5 weeks on leave basically caring for her. while my wife went back to work.
You're supposed to take care of your kids. That's what Chris Rock says.
I know, but
prize.
I'm just saying I'm enjoying it.
I hate
I'm
to
all
pat
in.
myself on the back here.
I'm fully invested. But
we know you're a good dad.
But you get nap trapped, and all of a sudden you see the Tigers are down 1-0, and they're still favored. You're like, What moron?
Corey, you know what this means?
Who set that line? Let's take care of that.
Get the swaddle on. Daddy's got to make a bet.
Swaddle in a bottle. Here we go.
That's cute. That's great that you guys can have that bonding moment
Yeah.
while the Tigers are complete ass.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you guys can relive that in a couple of years.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, it's maybe something I won't share with her. Do you have a first take?
Well, yeah. I mean,
Buenos tardes. It is time for the Detroit Tigers gambling update with Gramanito Couch and Jason Nick.
I mean, I'm done gambling on this team though.
On them, like
too many
for them?
SG.
Yeah.
No. Just
Period.
the single game parlays I was doing. That I had a nice little streak in our vacation. Now I'm back to being complete ass at them, and it's just like now it's just a disaster because they have to play like 100 game winning season baseball the next 50, 60 games or whatever. I mean, it's just not going to happen, right? With this bullpen. Really? I mean, seriously, Kenley Jansen, I can't really, he's in the Framber Valdez. When we got him, I wouldn't say excited like Tony Dombrowski, but I was like, okay, we're making some moves. But those guys did not work out. But it's the guys, like the Finnegans around him, the Vest. What are some of these guys doing? Blowing games after the 7th inning when you have a lead. So it's just like we're sitting there trying to talk ourselves into it. And that's like one of the worst things about the fandom and being a fan of Detroit sports is trying to talk yourself into it. And that's what makes me hate this team.
Well, and the other thing
so
is
much.
The
is
only
that
reason
they make you feel bad if you root against. You're like, F this team. Can't wait till Skubal's traded. Then they rattle off 4 wins. And then all of a sudden they play like complete dog shit. And it's like, forget you guys.
Well, and the only reason anybody's still trying to do this and do this mental gymnastics, whether they can make the playoffs or not, is because a lot of the teams around them are also not very good. So they're only 3.5 games out of the wild card, which is amazing. It's not even the division they're competing in.
I know.
It's this
then I hear
awful
people,
wild
it's
card.
still possible. That,
But
and I understand. But so many things would have to happen.
And that shouldn't matter. They should stop looking at the standings because ultimately whether you're good enough to really contend has less to do with the standings. Like if you're below 500 and just because the other teams around you are complete ass, that shouldn't be like the barometer of let's go all in. Unless you're going to change,
Skubal said so.
Unless you're going to change your team and buy guys, it shouldn't be enough to just hold steady, right? That it shouldn't be enough to hold firm. And the only reason we're also doing this mental gymnastics is we've hit this really dead part of the calendar. If the World Cup was another month, I'm sorry, the Tigers are just out. A lot of people would have something else to do. Yeah. If the U.S. Open started a little bit earlier in tennis, we'd all be out. I'm not saying everybody loves tennis and soccer and all this other. And a lot of people love the Tigers. If the Lions started if there was something else, they're filling a void and they're failing to do so. Like they are filling a void right now, and that is the only reason they have our attention. This Tigers team, if they go for it and they're 4.5, they will have nobody's attention in September. When we have something else. No, right.
I mean, should they have our attention right now? Like I said, 100-win pace is basically the way they have to play to get to 85 wins. That would get you.
Well, do you
into
need
a wild card situation.
Do you need 85 to get into a wild card situation? I don't know if you do.
But you have to play at a pace like that. I just don't see this team doing that with the bullpen. We're just fooling ourselves, and we're not making any moves whatsoever. And I just maybe after Skubal's traded and we're mathematically eliminated, maybe Scott Harris can come in front of all of us and tell us what the plan is. What is the plan next time when we draft a guy in the 6th round? He becomes a back-to-back Cy Young winner. Are we just going to let him go to the highest bidder again? Not get anything for him? I'm just sick of this. Like, I just want some sort of transparency with these guys, and it's just, I don't know. It's just too depressing.
It's a depressing season.
Skubal throwing 12 strikeouts, of course, in his last start.
I'm at the point where I'd like to see Skubal traded. I've enjoyed him. I've enjoyed him being on the Tigers, but I'm annoyed by him.
But isn't that crazy?
It's not crazy because
Tony Dombrowski.
That's crazy.
That's exactly, Tony. It's crazy.
I'm just annoyed.
And we have to sit there. I know. We're annoyed by our back-to-back Cy Young winner.
And also, I feel like Stringer Bell in that moment before he's shot in season 3 of The Wire, where it's like, just get on with it, or whatever he says there to Omar. Like it's like, it's like, okay, I'm tired of the chase of what I mean. Let's. And if by the way, that's
the same conversation. Like if he wanted to be here, I haven't heard him say that he wants to be here. But if he wanted to be here, he could be here. You could just tell Scott Boras.
Hope that's not a spoiler for anybody who hasn't seen. But the Wire's been out 20 years now. It's 25 years. So
what are you talking about?
Bedtime.
Spoiling The Wire?
Yeah, for people who haven't
And
seen
by the way, when they trade Skubal, they can take that fucking imposter Summers with them. That Timu fucking Tarik Skubal. That penis. Take him with you. Take the rest of this effing bullpen. Have Zach McKinstry fucking warm up in the bullpen. What are we doing here? I don't know. And by the way, Is it bad if someone has a punchable face like A.J. Hinch? Do you think A.J. Hinch has a punchable face? Because he looks like someone we know. And I don't want to punch the person that I know that looks like.
Who looks like him that we know?
Jeff Heward.
Jeff Heward looks like
our guy here at Spotlight.
No.
One of the co-founders of Spotlight looks a little like A.J. Hinch. There's a little A.J. Hinch. I mean, come on, a baseball guy.
So if all
Jeff
of a sudden, if Jeff Heward walks in here and you deck him,
no. I don't want to because I know it's Jeff Heward. I'm not completely stupid to where I can't, separate the two. But as AJ, in these post-game press conferences, like, oh yeah, that's the team I know we can be, and all this rah-rah bullshit.
Okay.
Seriously, so is that offensive to Jeff Heward? Because I'm not really saying I want to punch Jeff Heward in the face. I'm saying that AJ has a punchable face.
I don't see the punchable face in AJ. He's
really?
He's annoying me, but
smugness?
he doesn't have it. I mean,
analytics.
He's annoying, but he doesn't.
And when you fire your third base coach, and now the guy's scared shitless to get fired, so he's holding everybody up at third, which I can understand, because if Cora got fired there because he's letting everybody go through. But I mean, come on, Hao Yu Lee yesterday, he had the green light. I feel, but anyway.
The world's worst softball third base coach.
It's tough. Well, come on. In your defense in softball, you don't know the speeds of these people out there.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah,
who are you sending?
The
Peggy in accounting, she doesn't have the wheels to hit.
Well, you
third.
don't know what. Yeah, right. Sometimes you got a ringer in center field. All of a sudden, it's got an arm and can throw it on a dime, and you're like, where did that come from?
This is my second time playing softball this year. And he's just out there with eye paint and stirrups and shit. An angry softball guy in co-ed league. Maybe retire from softball. Never again.
All right, my first take.
Oh, right, we're doing a show.
Warde Manuel's separation agreement from Michigan. $7 million lump sum payment.
Mm-hmm. Sounds light.
Football tickets, golf privileges, attorney fees covered, and
they probably get a deal now.
Voluntarily resigns. I mean, I have never somebody who's being forced to resign for poor oversight and accountability failures in their job. I've never seen a package like this. And this goes to we talked about this with Sean Windsor and other people have written, the idea that he knows where the bodies are buried. There are things that they don't want him to talk about, that they don't want him to hold a grudge against the university, to feel like he needs to write a book, to feel like he needs to do interviews, to do any of that stuff. And this, to me, is his separation agreement is as damning as just about anything. Because when you have, if you get rid of somebody, which is what they're doing, for the issues they've had under him, and the president comes out and says, poor oversight and accountability failures, and then you give somebody a lump sum payment like that, I mean, it happens with CEOs sometimes who are fired, and so
it happens all the time.
It happens all the time. But often it's the same. It's either some sort of package that they've agreed to, or they're worried about what they know, and they want to keep people silent. This is the most telling, damning thing out there. That is an unreasonable amount of money. And when you add it up with the cost of the investigation, which did not produce a report, you're talking about $20 million. And there's so much money in college sports and so much wasted money in this world, but it just starts to piss you off when you think about the things that are struggling to happen at universities, in life and other things, and people have that kind of money to just piss away, and universities have that kind of money to piss away, and donors will cover it or whatever it is. That should not be how we exist in this world. That should not be how we exist in college athletics. And I get it that this is just a microcosm of what's everywhere.
But hasn't it always been this way, though?
To some degree,
these kind of guys getting by.
But this is a lot. This $7 million is an unbelievable lump sum payment.
Again, it sounds light to me. I figured you would have got more. If you know where bodies are buried and only get $7 million, you're not a very good negotiator.
But the point is, you don't want people to think. I mean, because you have to assume now there are bodies buried.
Yeah, of course.
So now that's part of the story. By the way, when you give somebody $7 million to go away, who was in a leadership position, who failed at their job to the point that they were being let go, you are saying there are bodies buried. So that's now part of the story. So when you look at the scandals that have happened at Michigan, it's Connor Stallions, it's this, it's that, it's whatever you want to say. It's also there are still more bodies buried. And there are bodies buried, whether they're ever dug up or not, because if there weren't, you wouldn't do this. So that is now part of the story, that there are bodies buried. it's one of the more ridiculous things I've seen.
Ever?
Well, no, but just I mean,
I'm shocked you're shocked by this though.
They have to know this is public. I mean, I'm surprised, given what the President Grasso said there about what was found, that they felt the need to give him this much. I think that's pretty telling. Anyway, that was just something that jumped out to me this weekend while I was
Isn't that pretty crazy?
Yeah.
We gave him this amount of money because of what we found. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not to mention all the NDAs and I don't know. There's just so much corruption, not just at universities, but all around of stuff like that when guys get fired. That's a reason why you have those buyout packages, because you're willing to take the bullet, willing to die with certain things. And you get that. That's the kind of money you get.
It's incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have another take?
It was golf over the weekend. The 3M was an absolute disaster. By the way, going to the Rocket Classic. Intern Nolan's going on Saturday. Treese and I are going on Thursday. If anybody's going, please hit me up. We'll meet up and hang for a little bit. Looking forward to chasing some of those first-round leaders because the 3M was an absolute disaster. But Jackson Koiven, the 21-year-old who not just won the tournament by, 3 strokes, but held off a Scotty Scheffler that was coming up. I mean, and everybody on the golf course in Minnesota telling him when, as he's playing, because Scotty was ahead of him, like, hey, man, Scotty's coming. At 21 to do that, it's just different. It's a different vibe. A guy like Jackson Koiven with all the hype from when he was at Auburn, and he's won every major accomplishment in college that you can, and in his third start wins the 3M tournament, so it'll be fun watching him going forward. But looking forward to the last Rocket Classic this week.
In the last PGA tournament in Michigan, maybe for quite a while.
Which is stupid. It has to. There has to
right.
be.
This is a great golf state. We ought to have.
Detroit Golf Club made like $12 million in renovations, and they didn't do that to not have some sort of tournament, and hopefully they can. But it's a big ask. I mean, $15 million sponsorship. I mean, as you and I know, Couch, asking people for money to sponsor this podcast. Can you imagine asking for $15 million?
Well, we usually ask for $14 million, which is
start low,
and then we work up.
Like, does that not fit in your budget? Yeah. Okay, well, that's just what we'll try to do. But anyway, just a couple golf things. At least golf can keep me somewhat occupied, even though that season's starting to come to an end with the FedEx playoffs coming up in the next couple of weeks. So we'll have some Norm's picks here.
Excellent. I've got other stuff, but it's not great. And so I think we just dig in here. I don't know.
Is that a tease?
Is it mine?
It's not great?
Well, I've got some stuff on NIL and some developments there, but we'll hold on to that. I want to get into these. I want to dig into these listener takes. But before we do that, actually, I was planning to bring in Nolan after the break. Intern Nolan is here.
Yes.
But Intern Nolan wanted to talk about the 3M tournament a little more because you were wondering, Nolan, first of all, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
People are still wondering if you're alive.
I'm alive.
Yeah, you're alive.
Jason didn't kill me.
Yeah,
we're okay. We're okay.
So, what your take on this tournament and this showing by this 21-year-old is what?
It's just that I was looking, kind of in the modern era, like players who have won won tournaments, majors, events at the age of 21. In the modern era, there have been 3. Tiger Woods in 1996 when he was 20 years old in Las Vegas, and Jordan Spieth when he was 19 years old and 11 months in the John Deere Classic. And look how you see obviously Tiger Woods, the greatest golfer of all time, winning so young, and then Jordan Spieth, one of the greatest young golfers ever to play. Has he fallen off a little bit? Yes, but he's still a phenomenal golfer. I mean, that just only shows how high of a player Jackson can really be. I mean, you see him, obviously he beat Scotty Scheffler by 3 strokes. Matsuyama also by 3 strokes. I mean, those are 2 of the best golfers in the world. And you see a 21-year-old come in after making, because he's in his career, he's had played 13 events majors. He's made 10 of those cuts. And you're seeing a kid like that already making $2 million in earnings. Like, this kid has nothing but, the sky's the limit for this kid. I think this kid, I'm not going to get it over my head and say, he'll be one of the best golfers of all time.
Say it. It's
okay.
hot. It's Hot Take Monday,
baby. Hot Take Monday. Okay, sure. He's going to be better than Tiger Woods in 10 years.
Nice.
No, but I mean, if he's already, I think didn't he already play at the Masters this year? Wasn't he already there?
As an amateur, yeah.
He was an amateur at the Masters, at a 20-year-old maybe at the time. I mean, this kid could really grow up to be one of the best golfers. I mean, if he stays on track.
You heard it here first. Intern Nolan, greatest golfer of all time.
Hey, it's Hot Take Monday, you said. Got to give him a hot take. But
no, but he is somebody to pay attention to now. That when you get something like this, he's a name everybody will know, and it's
and he has all the shots. Like some of these guys, these phenoms that come up, they can bomb it, but around the greens they're not very good, and he's just got all of those shots, which is kind of annoying, to be honest with you. like a guy that young and having it all like that.
You like to see a guy kind of mess up here and there, like a young guy.
Well, naturally, yeah.
Yeah.
My natural feeling, yeah. You want to,
Well, I
mean,
mess up
especially
a lot.
when a
You
young
would love
kid.
you would love watching me.
Why is it, dude? I don't hate you at all. I want you to prosper.
No, I'm saying like you would
Intern
love
Nolan.
watching me golf because I make a lot of mistakes.
Well, most of us do because we're not professionals.
That's true,
It's the Well, we will have intern Nolan back. We're going to dig into some of the.
Before we do that, though, I have something to play for Nolan.
Okay.
And since I was giving Nolan a little grief when he was an intern.
By the way, we have some listener comments coming up. Nolan will, Nolan is a topic.
We'll absolutely get to those. But I just want to play him before we get to these takes of something from me when I was 18 years old. You know who Harry Carey is?
No.
No idea.
I feel like is that surprising?
Broadcaster for the Cubs back in the day, older guy, had glasses. Was
Famous.
Anyway,
that's how young kids are today. They haven't heard of Harry Carey.
I
definitely heard the name, but
when I was an intern with the sports guys when I was 18, they handed me a packet of phone numbers and said, "Hey, kid, call all of these celebrities," because it was a bunch of celebrity numbers and sports figures and all that, and get them to set like a liner, like, "Hey, you're listening to the sports guys on AM 730. This is Harry Carey, whatever." So I'd call these guys, and I want to play you. This is my first call, and this was to Harry Carey.
Hello.
Mr. Carey.
Hello, where are you?
Mr. Carey, my name is Jason.
Boy, I can't hear you. You must have a bad connection.
Yeah, Mr. Carey, how are you? Can you hear me now?
Hardly.
All right, how about now?
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Jason. I'm with the Sports Guys show in Lansing, Michigan.
Where are you from?
Lansing, Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering maybe if you could do a liner for us and say, "This is Harry Carey, and you're listening to the stinking Sports Guys. Holy cow," or something like that, or
do what?
You can say, "This is Harry Carey, and you're listening to the Sports Guys."
Oh no, I can't do that.
Oh, come on, Mr. Carey, it'll take 2 minutes.
Listen, I can't do it.
It'll take you half a second.
What's the Sports Guys?
Yeah, say, "This is Harry Carey, and you're listening to the Sports Guys."
Sports Guys?
Yeah, the stinking Sports Guys.
Oh God. No, I don't know enough about you.
Yeah, it'll only take 30 seconds, sir.
Pal, I don't know enough about you.
Come on.
What are you on, a radio or the TV?
We're on radio.
Who's your sponsor?
WVFN.
Who's your sponsor?
Liga Broadcasting.
Who's your sponsor?
I don't know, sir. We have no sponsor.
Well, I can't do it.
Come on, sir. It'll take 2 seconds.
Hey, no.
Oh, come on.
All right, there you go.
That was you at 18.
That was me at 18.
You sound like me.
Yeah, you sound really old.
Absolutely nervous. Well, I had the bass in my voice. I did have. That was the one good thing that I did get when I was younger. I don't know if that's good for when you're 15.
Yeah,
it's a good radio voice.
Yeah,
that's good.
Thank you. But anyway, so that was my embarrassing moment. Who's your sponsor? I was like, what is he saying? Like, what is going on?
Did you even
But did you
have
see
a
how
sponsor?
smug I sounded? Yeah, we had a couple sponsors, you know. But I didn't know what he was talking about. And after the fact, I found out that he was asking that because of Budweiser. He couldn't do anything because he was sponsored by Budweiser. And he wanted to make sure we weren't sponsored by Miller Lite or something. But I had no idea.
In fairness to Nolan not knowing who Harry Carey was, what year were you born?
2004.
So he was born.
There's no fault in not
He
knowing
was
Harry
born
Carey.
6 years after Harry Carey died.
Yeah.
So if you think about, like, as big as Harry Carey was, and Harry Carey's the bar in Chicago, he's the famous Cubs announcer. But if you think about broadcasters who died 6 years before we were born, so they died in like 73.
Right. But Will Ferrell did a Harry Carey impression, yeah. I wasn't expecting, because Treese is the one that said, you need to play this Harry Carey call for intern Nolan, so he realizes that you're not being a dick. Like, you know, we're all young and doing things like that, so it's not, you know, I wanted it as a peace offering, dude. Here,
there was never.
But you see how I was smug I was talking to Harry Carey? I mean, he's a legend. But when I'm 18, I'm like, come on, man. I was like, come on, you can do it. It only takes a second. Like, what an asshole. What a dude.
You could have asked politely, hey, Mr. Carey.
Dude, it was,
These are really big glasses. These are huge.
Yeah.
These are really
so,
big.
anyway, there you go, intern.
You're going to take some grief for not knowing who Harry Carey is,
yeah,
by the way.
I probably will.
I see, as much grief as I want to give intern Nolan, and I enjoy when he gets grief, but I don't know if he deserves it not knowing Harry Carey.
Well,
because Harry Carey's a long, long time ago.
Boy, so you passed away, you said at night, so he said 6 years before
He
me?
passed away 2 weeks after this phone call.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
So then it was going around the station that I killed Harry Carey, which was great.
You were calling him on his deathbed?
Well, no, he sounded great there. I don't think he was on his deathbed, but yeah, 2 weeks later, Harry Carey ended up passing away.
He's not somebody who took great care of himself in every
Sure
way
wasn't.
in life.
Well, did anybody back then? A lot of smoking, a lot of drinking.
Back then, this is the 90s. Back then. Fuck, I'm about to come after you, man. This is back then.
Well, didn't you probably grew up in the 50s then?
Didn't you guys fly in airplanes and smoke cigarettes?
Wasn't the dinosaurs back then? What's going on?
All right, that's enough, Nolan. Thank you.
All right, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will dig into your takes, some really good stuff, some July takes, as we call them, some off-the-wall stuff, some good stuff on MSU football, Michigan, NIL, the Tigers, all that good stuff. Couch in the Rube, our Wednesday show. What the hell day is it? Monday show.
Yeah, it's Monday.
I'm sorry, the Harry Carey thing's got me. It's Monday, presented by our friends at Firekeepers Casino and the Firekeepers Casino and Sportsbook app.
Where else can you cheer on your team? Enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi. Sip on handcrafted cocktails or one of 46 beers on tap. Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen Bar or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. 2 amazing places with 1 awesome blended modern American Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Come enjoy irresistible, award-winning, handcrafted donuts and locally roasted coffee at Groovy Donuts. Surprise your family or coworkers with special holiday designs and flavors, or put the perfect finishing touch on an event with a custom order. Birthdays, weddings, gender reveals, our friends at Groovy Donuts are your answer. Experience the Groovy Donuts difference for yourself on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamston. Get more information or place an order at groovydonuts.com. Firekeepers Online Casino and Sportsbook is the site to play. From your phone, tablet, or laptop. Get in on all the football action with pre- and in-game wagering. There's showdowns every week in football that you can't miss. Plus, the college and pro hoops are red hot, and the pucks are cool. Get your first casino deposit and sports wager matched up to $500 each. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and located in Michigan. Gambling problem? Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-270-7117.
Please like and subscribe to the Couch in the Rube YouTube channel. Also, download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
Couch in the Rube, our Monday show, presented by our friends at Firekeepers Casino and Firekeepers Casino and Sportsbook app. Download the app today. Bet the games we're betting better yet. Bet something else. And, of course, bet responsibly. It is time to dig into listener takes, July takes, other takes, and everything. Jason, you ready?
Yeah, real quick, though. Jack White played at Pine Knob on Saturday.
Yeah.
Treese and I did not go, but we watched it on apparently this thing called Nugs. For $5, they had all these nice cameras set up and watched the concert at home. Does that count as going?
No.
You can't say that we went to the Jack White. I mean, I saw all of the Jack White show. I could tell you what happened.
But I saw when they put Hamilton on, what was it, Apple, Disney Plus or whatever. I saw Hamilton, but it doesn't count going to see Hamilton.
But no one
Broadway.
would care if you told them that, though. I don't think anybody would be like, "Oh, dude, I'm going to fact check you on that."
Not the same experience.
Totally not, but I feel like I got a decent experience, especially with the level of MGs that I took. I felt like I was there, and if I just said, yeah, we went to the Pine Knob show. But it was great. $5? Some concert footage there. Anyway, Dominic up first. Number 1. Oh, my God, sorry. Number 1, Season 3 of Shrinking was great, except for the Les Miserables jam session that I know Graham sang along to. And the scenes with Couch's lake house buddy Jeff Daniels because he was a dick to my non-W word ex. That same non-W word ex hates Graham now for calling her a liar. 2, I despise this Tiger team to my core. And 3, sometimes I love a long for a long time, and one day I peek at the lyrics and I'm like, what the fuck? Waterloo by ABBA is quite literally about Napoleon surrendering at the Battle of Waterloo, and somehow comparing that to a breakup. And bonus, Pete Rose belongs in the Hall of Fame.
The ultimate July.
But here's where I'm going to tell you you're wrong, Dominic, about Pete Rose.
When is the last time Pete Rose belongs in the Hall of Fame was an actual topic, you think, on a show outside of Cincinnati?
On whose show?
On any show outside of Cincinnati.
Tim Stout?
Well, that's a good point.
Probably yesterday.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They probably did like a one of those. What did he do? What was that contest he would do, where everybody would call in and give a score? God damn it, I forgot it.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for helping me out.
First of all, Shrinking, great show if you haven't seen it on Apple. Incredible. And the Les Mis jam session, they did the confrontation between Javert and Jean Valjean, and it's the two main characters with Harrison. I'm blanking in the back.
What a show! What a podcast!
Yeah.
Neither one of us know what the fuck.
Hold on. Let me get the right characters and all this. This is bad. Sorry, I've been up since 2 a.m. So yeah, Harrison Ford. That's Harrison Ford in the back. It's Jason. Yeah, it's Jason Segel. Oh, this is new lats. New lats. Anyway, it's a great scene. And he's just making fun of Les Mis. It's a great scene. Shrinking, highly recommend.
You pick 'em contest. Sorry for Tim Stout.
Couch never start over this segment. Yeah. Welcome to Couch in the Room.
It would be great if this podcast, the whole thing, like,
if
try to make a point, I'm like, I don't know.
If this show wasn't live, and one of the best things about doing this live is we just go. But if this show wasn't live, how many times would we probably start over?
0.
No? Okay.
I mean, you would want to, but then I'd just tell you we did, and then just
be like a 7-hour afternoon. Anyway. Be like, I didn't like that one.
Right.
Let's read that again.
Yeah, what does it matter?
Yeah.
Come on, with this podcast by now, after 1,150 of these things, who cares? Richard Kane next. The question was asked. How many people would happily trade what Michigan is going through and has gone through to have the titles they've had? Only answering for myself. Hell no. I'd be ashamed to sell my soul like Michigan has. Integrity is more important than ephemeral. What is that word? Ephemeral.
Yeah.
There's got to be a better way to describe your point there. Ephemeral moments of glory. And bonus, if MLS ever got bigger than college sports, the TV pukes would immediately ruin it with tons of commercial interruptions.
They would try in this country, but soccer fans, it wouldn't get bigger. It wouldn't get bigger because soccer fans wouldn't
just
put up
insert
with it.
Anything there. Whatever becomes popular, they're going to ruin it.
Right, but what I'm saying is MLS is competing against the Premier League and Liga MX, and those are the two most popular leagues television-wise in this country. And so those leagues are packaged and presented a certain way. If you don't do it the same, if you do it worse, then you're not going to be more popular than those leagues. So there would be pressure from a television standpoint to do it right. To Richard Kane's first one on, I think a lot of people say what you're thinking there, or think they would think the way you're thinking. Yeah, but I also think if it came down to it, there are a lot of people who would happily take the national title that was just won, and the national title that was won in 2023 in football, whether people think it was won or not, and deal with all of this all the way up to an AD being paid handsomely to go away with lots of bodies buried.
Because it's hard to say like you wouldn't take $50,000, but then when you see it on a table in front of you.
Well, a lot of people,
you'd be like, oh, no, I would just take the moral high ground. Of course, but if you saw it in front of you, I don't know. That's the difference.
Integrity is a noble idea, Richard, and
I believe Richard.
I believe
him.
I believe Richard too. Yeah, I just don't believe enough people are, and as he said, only answering for myself here.
Skyler next. I enjoy soccer less because of Graham. Between his take that only British people should announce soccer, his gatekeeping of certain soccer teams like Detroit City, Tottenham, etc., and his take that soccer is going to take over in the USA and all other sports suck, he just becomes unbearable. Keep hating on soccer, Jason. You are in the right.
Yeah,
I don't really hate soccer as much as I hate guys like Graham.
Yeah, unbearable is a good word. Insufferable, you name it. Yeah, it's all there. Yeah,
and I don't know if you're totally wrong on only British people should announce soccer. Like,
well,
I think some golf events they should only be British people. Like sometimes it's right, it hits right.
Well, and British people sound more sophisticated anyway.
They really do.
It's a thing, and so it with soccer. I'm very particular to certain. Like I do not like Scottish people, because the Scots aren't very good at soccer. Not Scottish people in general. I'm just saying I don't like them announcing soccer. So you hear these Scottish voices, and it's really distinct, and you're like, "What are you doing? You guys are no better than the Americans. I don't want a Scottish voice doing my soccer. Like, get off. Nobody needs that."
The Dream next. It's very likely MSU's next AD will be one tasked with hiring a basketball coach after Izzo's retirement. Every potential candidate and needs to be evaluated on that factor. Do you trust this person to find Izzo's successor?
Well,
no.
I mean, I
don't trust anybody, really.
Yeah, it's very possible. It's very likely that person, unless they get another J. Bad, who leaves after a year, which would be a problem. And if it's Dan Bartholomew, which it very well may be, that would be. I'll say this: he hired Dwayne Stevens, so he's probably not, and he fired Dwayne Stevens, so he's probably not hiring Dwayne Stevens as his replacement. But again, I don't think that was a bad hire at the time there. I think Izzo will have a big say in this as well. But it is an important hire for that. I've thought before that Alan Haller would be the person who had to make these momentous decisions, and he didn't last long enough. Then I thought Jay Batt, and Jay Batt did have to last long enough to fire and hire a football coach. And so the question now is what the next AD will have to do, and ideally the next AD will last long enough and be good enough and competent enough to get it right with probably some guidance from Izzo and who fits and who would be good in that role. And the money will be in a place where it's a really attractive job. And ideally, they won't have to hire a football coach. The Pat Fitzgerald would be around for a while.
Kurt Wisniewski next. Number 1, MSU football is one more bad season away from becoming Rutgers West. 2, the Lions Super Bowl window is smaller than fans think. And 3, the Pistons' Cade Cunningham is elite, but the franchise is failing him. And 4, Michigan football scum will revert back to the Rich Rod ages.
The Lions Super Bowl window being smaller than fans think, I mean, what if most fans think? Like, what do you think the window is, Jason?
I don't think about windows. I don't like to think about it. Yeah. Especially after that loss to the 49ers and Dan Campbell coming out and saying, wow, this is what was our best shot. I just hate that mentality, so I don't like to think about the windows. I mean, because he's not wrong. I've thought about the window being small and all that, but I just hate that conversation.
Yeah. No,
it's not fun to have. Like, if I was seriously like, oh, you know what? Yeah, it's closing. It's closing fast. I don't know. I'd rather just not think that way. You might be right about it, but I think fans are more realistic than we think.
And MSU football is Rutgers is a place that never is conflicted about what it wants to be in terms of academically, athletically. Does it want to be in the Big Ten? Like, there are a lot of people there that wish Rutgers was a Division III school, and they think of football differently on the East Coast. So I think MSU football is Rutgers is just different. I know what you're saying there, Kurt, but I don't think. I just think the mindsets are so different.
That's another one where he's probably right, but you don't want to think about it that way. Because you never want to be Rutgers West or being talked about or thinking of that. But, I mean, if you look at it objectively, maybe he's right.
Couple things you can do on the Firekeeper's Eye Casino and Sportsbook app. MSU football, I think they might have over 4.5 wins is what you're starting to see is their season win total. And the Lions, 10.5 is the over-under. And so if you have a good – I like the Lions over 10.5. I think in a 17-game season, I think this is a year where they get that. I do like the over. You can get that in the Firekeeper's Eye Casino and Sportsbook app.
Solari's going to be playing cornerback here. What do you mean? Are you sure? I want to believe you, too. Olivia from Birmingham next. A new poll this morning predicts Michigan State football to finish at the bottom of the Big Ten with Purdue. And it feels like a dreadful continuation of Tucker and Smith era relevancy. Where is Graham's optimism coming from?
Well, a couple things. One, don't believe the polls. I often take part in these. I'm not this month because I'm on leave, and I just haven't responded to emails. But I don't know shit, and I usually vote in them. I guarantee you most of the people doing this don't know shit, and nobody knows shit because of the transfer portal and everything. Nobody knows what any of these teams are going to be anymore. We didn't have a great feel for it beforehand. Like, think about this. I am the freaking dolt who in 2018 maybe wrote the column about this could be Michigan State's most prolific offense ever, right?
Are you raising your voice at me?
And it was, that was the Brian Lewerke, Velton Davis crew, and that was a horrible offense, it turned out to be. Now, there were some injuries. It was an awful. But I didn't write that column to be hot takey. I didn't write that column for clicks. I didn't write that column for any other reason than I thought that group coming out of 2017, the way they finished in that bowl game in the Holiday Bowl, had a chance to be a really great offense. And I was wrong. I was way, way, way wrong. But that's me back before the transfer portal assessing a roster that I covered pretty intimately. And now you're asking people like me who can't get that stuff right, and I'm not alone. We're all wrong on that stuff all the time, to assess 17 other schools that we don't pay as close attention to. Now in a transfer portal era, we have no clue what the roster actually looks like and can name. Most people can't. I mean, we have to go through sometimes and do an all-conference team, but that's total bullshit and a waste of time too at this point. So the idea, I'm not, look, if you have to pick where MSU is going to be based on last year and based on name recognition and, Nick Marsh transferred to Indiana, you're probably going to pick him towards the bottom. But nobody knows squat. Don't look at those polls. They don't know. It's a waste of time. It's engagement, farming, traffic, crap. And all of it is at this point. And you just don't pay attention. Don't waste your time on it, even if I'm taking part in it, because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about either with any of that stuff. And that just is what it is. And it's fun to talk about and digest. And, there's, we're being disrespected or this or that or this team's great or what. Who the hell cares? And nobody actually knows. So I would not worry about that.
Even Jim Comparoni? I think Comp knows.
Comp doesn't know.
No?
I love Comp, but Comp doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
Comp doesn't know. And
he's at the facility right now, like hiding an event, like getting information.
That's fair enough. He's up.
If I'm going to trust someone, it's got to be Comp.
Ebling's up in the tree overlooking the practice facility.
Ebling hasn't been up in a tree since 1979. Stop it.
Back when Harry Carey was in his prime. So my optimism is not. I don't know why you think. I just when I look at their schedule and I look at other teams and the question marks around them, teams I don't know about either, and teams that their beat writers don't know about either. I think there are enough questions about other teams and questions about Michigan State to say some of those questions have to go in Michigan State's favor. Some of those questions have to go against the other teams. They play 2 MAC schools, and you're telling me in the other 10 games they can't win 2 to get to 4 wins, to get to 5 wins. I think it's more likely than not they do. I think there's probably a little bit more seasoning there than people give them credit for.
Chris, next. July topic. The sooner major college sports like football and basketball adopt a full European soccer-style transfer fees, the better. Having big teams pay contract buyouts to smaller teams may be the only way for the sport to sustain itself long-term with all the crazy money flowing in for top teams.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen the same way because you got this pesky little thing called class in college, and it's just not.
Athletes don't go to class anymore.
Right, but as long as it's tied to college, which is, the whole system in this country is absurd that we tie it to college. That other countries don't even understand what we're doing here.
Can you imagine how sick that would be, though? You're making like $2 million a year and you're on campus, and they don't really care if you go to class.
Well, and everybody goes
stroll in
online now too. All these athletes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
By the way, if
pay someone to do that.
If I'm hiring you, I want to know if you're in online classes or classes in person because that's a very different degree and experience. I am not respecting your online-only degree at the same level I would respect an in-person degree. So don't. By the way, if you're going to pay a lot of money to go to school, it's your education. Don't do online-only classes. Just don't do it. And now,
are you talking to intern Nolan specifically?
No. I'm just saying. But and I'm just not saying there isn't continuing education. There aren't ways and reasons you have to do that in certain classes. I'm not saying that everybody and some people in their circumstances require it. I'm just saying if you find yourself on a nice campus living in a dorm and you wind up taking online classes, you are wasting money. And that's all. There's a July take that I've been hanging on to for a little while.
I'm pretty sure you've said that in past Julys.
Yeah, that's past Aprils and Mays and August and everything. But yeah, you got this pesky thing called class. So it's never you're never going to have this thing where I just don't think with school and the idea that because you're not going to get teams selling players like they do in the in soccer. So I think this is there are some similarities to the European soccer model and college sports, but there are a lot of things that are different. The passion is what's probably the closest over here, and there are sort of the pecking order and the way we, all that stuff, but there's some other stuff that's very, very different.
Professor, watering your own lawn sucks. Mowing your lawn sucks. Whoever decided cookie-cutter green lawns were in style should be shot.
That's a July top. That's it right there. Because if we all, how
it's more of a statement, really.
But think about this: we look at styles, and you go when we were in school, people wore one thing, they wore a different thing 10 years later. Different styles change and fashion. Lawn fashion never changes. It would be really helpful if, like, at some point, it's like, hey, people like uneven 6-inch lawns. We don't even have to mow that.
Boy,
much.
I'm starting a trend out in Ovid.
Are you?
That front yard is fried, baby. It hasn't grown in weeks since we haven't had rain. When am I going to go out there and start sprinkling? It's impossible out there. Grass is ridiculous in Ovid.
Nolan, what? Anybody talking on the YouTube live chat right now?
There is some people talking. There's this one new listener. His name's Patrick Watson. He said, "Hey guys, just started listening recently.
What's up, Pat?
Hey Pat, thanks for tuning in, man. Start listening recently. Hope you read these chats again. But I'm wondering, what are the odds State upset Michigan in football, also getting back to sweeping them in basketball next year?"
100%, actually.
Yeah, in football, I think rivalries are always different than the actual records. Like Michigan State has beaten Michigan in many years where they weren't that good a team, and years where Michigan was better than them. And so that could absolutely happen. I don't think Michigan's going to be that great this year in football, but it's a more seasoned roster. Yeah. Quarterback play is a real question, obviously, with them, and so that matters a ton. And so I think there's a better than there's probably a 25% chance Michigan State wins that game. Just assessing where the programs are and what that rivalry is and how things go weirdly sometimes in that game. And obviously we haven't seen either one of those teams and what it looks like and what the quarterback play looks like and what the line play looks like and all that good stuff. But I would say it's not out of the realm. In terms of sweeping again in basketball, it's been a long time since they've done that. These have been even programs for 15 years. And I think they'll largely remain pretty even programs as long as Izzo's there and as long as Michigan is, and we'll see what happens there, but able to fund the roster the way they've been able to.
I agree. This year football, it's in Ann Arbor, right?
It is, yeah.
I don't know. Bryce Underwood. I mean, you saw like the comparison last year between Alicio and Bryce Underwood. Alicio started like 5 less games that had more passing yards and more touchdowns. I mean, I'm going to take my chances.
Things could go wrong for Bryce Underwood. I mean, this is a big year for him, and the problem with being a quarterback of that amount of money, and this is the new in the NIL era, and that we have hype players for a long time and guys who don't live up to it. But there are signs that he's an immense talent, but there are signs that he may not actually be that good a quarterback. But again, he's a sophomore. I mean, it used to be quarterback's a position of experience, so I think usually 2 or 3 years in. Like let alone as a true sophomore. So we'll see what he is. And the problem he's got with the money he's making is if it doesn't happen for him this year, people are going to bail on him pretty quick. Jason, go ahead.
It just sucks that he came into college as like the quarterback. He's getting paid like $12 million, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Like he's getting paid. He's supposed to be the prodigy, the next J.J. McCarthy in Michigan, when he hasn't really had that much experience to play. He has no receivers.
Well,
I'll give him that.
And that's also the problem with paying a freshman to do anything, especially a freshman to be a quarterback. That's on. And again, he winds up being great, then it was worth the investment. It's just that's a tough position to. I'd rather have overall as a philosophy, if you're building the program, I'd rather have trying to get good recruits who still have to compete for the job and redshirt 1 year. I guess if you have 5 years to play anymore, that won't matter. But I don't think the model of paying a freshman, anointing a freshman, making that freshman the starter. And paying him that sort of money with that sort of ego and all the things that go into really succeeding as a quarterback. I don't think that's a successful model over time. He may overcome it. I don't think that's the way to go about it.
All right, Rich Searing next. Number 1, I saw an article online that said Cohen Carr tore his ACL and would be out for the season. My heart fell in my stomach. When looking for other articles to confirm and couldn't find any, I got pretty annoyed. Why do people post dumb shit like this? Just to rile people up? Why do they get off on that? Sometimes I hate people. And 2, you guys talked about the Mighty Mac on Friday. As someone who is terrified of heights, I always hated going across it and would put my head down while my wife drove over. Looking out and seeing not much of a guardrail makes me absolutely freaked out. So if you're wondering why some people hate it, they're probably like me. I tried to find one of those drivers to get me over once, but I couldn't find them. I think they're called Timmies.
Yeah, but that's... I guess I can see why people get nervous about that. And then you got the Yugo driver from 30 years ago.
Yeah, but that was like, my God, that was 1982 or something like that.
I can see it though. I mean, I don't like roller coasters, and people usually live through
I don't
those.
either, but when I'm strapped into one, I've been on them. Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
Do you ever get on a roller coaster where there's one that's like X'd off? You're not allowed to get in that car. And you're like, what happened to those people? How do they know that roller coaster wasn't working?
What county fair are you going to?
Yeah, that's the problem right there. But I've never gotten off a roller coaster and said,
Is there chalk outlines in the seats of where they passed away? What are you talking about?
I've never gotten off a roller coaster and said, wow, that was fun. I've often said,
really?
Boy, that wasn't so bad. So I don't go on them anymore.
I'm like, yeah, thank God it's over. Because especially when we go to Cedar Point when we were younger, and you would sit there like, this thing ain't shit, but you were like 3 hours away from getting on it. And as you crept towards it, and you were like next up, and you started like shaking a little bit, and you weren't talking.
And by the time you got up there, you had to pee so bad anyway, you're going to piss yourself. It was the absolute worst. To the first one, though, this is a real problem. I don't know what all these sites are that now post on Facebook and other places, just completely fraudulent articles, and I don't even know what these who does this, if it's completely AI driven or who's behind those sites. If you are behind these sites or you work for them or you write for them, fuck you. Like, seriously. I'm serious. Like, you don't belong to be part of our society. Like, I don't even, like, it's just, we don't need that. We do not need that. You don't need to make money that way. There's so many better ways to make a living. Don't do that, and don't put that on a resume, because Lord knows I would never hire you for anything, and I would hope you be blacklisted from just about everything. Do not, for these fraudulent fake things. Don't do that. Don't be that person.
On my resume, I'm going to put that I broke the Cohen car fake out for season.
There you go. Don't do that stuff. Yeah.
But usually you should, if you're following a certain, like, people like Graham or Solari, like, usually if you see something like that, go to their accounts, and I wait, right? Like Steven Brooks, some guy comp. Peasy, Pistons should move on from Jalen Duren. If he really wants the full max, a bigger deal than Cade's, he's delusional and doesn't care about winning. Figure out a sign and trade, because you can find rebounding and rim running bigs that don't do anything else for much cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, this is a real question on whether he's going to come back and play, for a lot less for just a year and then try and go.
That's what I heard. There's no way that's possible, right?
I doubt it. I don't know why he.
I mean, his agent isn't floating that, right?
It must. His agent is for sure.
They're floating just a 1-year deal.
Well, him coming back and signing the whatever the offer that.
Yeah, but that's not a good look. The offers must be.
Well, there is a what's the name of it? Hold on, give me some Hoff. This is.
How about the rest of the lats?
Yeah, there you go.
For I can't help falling in love.
Yeah, it's just the qualifying offer, but I don't. There's some reports that he's weighing that. I think that's just being put out there. I would be very surprised if he. Because the problem for Jalen Duren is this. If he is truly much closer to the player we saw in the playoffs, then the money's never going to be there for him. And what he's being offered now is as good as it's ever going to be. And so I'm not saying you shouldn't bet on yourself. But, man, the guy we saw in the playoffs, that would be concerning to me. And you're 22. You took big steps between last year and 2 years ago and last year. I'm not.
Let's say you bet on yourself and then have a great regular season and shit the bed in the first round of the playoffs or whatever, and then what?
Yeah, right. I would be.
And then don't redeem yourself in the second round?
I understand the frustration, but I think he's run into this period of time where, and we've talked about this before, in the new apron hard cap world of the NBA, you're not going to have more than 1 or 2 max contracts. And if you have 2, it's really hard to build, and those 2 guys better be superstars. And people ought to hold them to that account. Like, I'm sorry, if Jalen Duren makes huge money that prohibits flexibility for the Pistons, they better win a title next year. They better be in the hunt for it. He has to be that good. And every question attribute should be, why aren't you good enough for that? Otherwise, take something reasonable. I mean, you have to understand that is the expectation for you if you cripple the flexibility of your team in this new era. This isn't 5 years ago where people got paid ridiculous amounts and you could find ways around it. You can't anymore. So I think guys are struggling with that, and he seems to be one of them.
Bryant Fillmore next. Longtime listener, first-time hot take. The Michigan Stadium Tunnel has a longer history of causing problems than most rivalries. Players fight in it, coaches complain about it, and now even Morgan Wallen can't make it through unscathed. Blow that thing up.
Did you see the video of him taking a tumble?
I actually did, yeah. Which must mean I'm on social media too much because I don't follow any of that stuff. But
yeah, no, it's a famous tunnel at this point for all the wrong.
Someone
reasons.
was like, "This is like living hell right here. My living hell. Michigan Stadium with Morgan Wallen, with like 100,000 Morgan Wallen fans. I mean, good for him. That's amazing to sell out a place like that. But I saw some of the clips and I'm like, holy hell.
Would you go to a Morgan Wallen concert?
No. At the big house. No. I don't think I would go. I don't know any of his songs. I'm not saying that. It's just I'm not into that kind of country stuff. So more power to his fans and all that stuff. I'm not like intern Nolan over there going after Swifties on our Instagram. Like, my God, this guy. John Johnson, I try to listen to the show without bias. It is wild how much we talk and focus on Michigan as a MSU fan base when our over-under for wins this season is set at 3.5. Also, if we're going to poo-poo Miles Bridges receiving $40 or whatever, wasn't the Harbaugh violation related to cheeseburgers? Can't have it both ways.
No, it was recruiting during COVID, right? I mean, it wasn't the cheeseburger is the it wasn't really a cheeseburger. But to your point, I mean, yes, but that's what drives college athletics: the ability to sink your teeth into rivals and to get overly angry about them and to just be emotional. I mean, if it wasn't for these rivalries. First of all, if you're a Michigan State fan, football fan right now, it'd be pretty depressing. You need that. It's depressing anyway, but I mean, you need something to sink your teeth into besides your own team, and that's part of what drives it. It's part of what drives the energy and the money. But there is lots of hypocritical takes on this stuff, and but I think what Michigan is gone through is done in the last 4 or 5 years is a little different, and I think most people realize that. And I think a lot of Michigan fans are embarrassed about it and realize it too.
Not talking about this.
No.
Ken Chu, one day octopus will rise from the sea and take over the planet. They have 9 brains, 3 hearts, sharp beaks, ink cannons, and the ability to regenerate lost limbs and instantaneously change colors.
See, this is what I want, Ken.
It's a baked take.
Yep, there you go.
All right,
baked July take. 9 brains, 3 hearts, sharp beaks.
Let's get together, Kenny.
Yeah.
Let's break bread.
There you
Smoke
go.
A joint. Okay. All right, Treese, next. Glow bracelets and other glowing things make everything better, from impromptu dance parties, celebrations, and, of course, concerts like Benson Boone. Bonus. My Dingler jersey can't get here soon enough. Yeah, T's still a believer, so she's a big Dingler fan.
Well, if you're going to be a fan of and be a believer in somebody on the team, he's a good one to believe in because he's part of the future.
But what she's failing to mention, I don't know if either one of you know who Benson Boone is.
I don't.
But he's usually during his concerts, he's like half naked.
Okay.
And her coworker, her daughter, who is 9 years old, is also a big Benson Boone fan, and she asked if Treese could grab a T-shirt for the daughter. She comes home and goes, "Oh yeah, this is the shirt I got her," and it's Benson Boone with half naked Benson Boone on the shirt, and I'm going like,
for a 9-year-old girl.
And I go, wait a minute. Now listen, I'm not clutching my pearls here, but I'm just going like 9 years old.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was a kid and my grandparents went to California and they came back with a Los Angeles Lakers shirt, and it said my favorite 6-pack, and it had 6 of the Lakers in it. My grandparents would not let me wear it to school because it said 6-pack, referring to beer. But here we go. That's why I mentioned it. I'm like, 9 years old, half naked Benson Boone. Mom said, totally fine, no problem whatsoever. Though.
There you go.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right, Sparty Barb next. It's remarkable to think that a college athlete can commit to a program only to change course and sign a professional contract. MSU hockey ultimately needs collective bargaining agreements with their players to provide greater stability and protect their roster. And bonus, fresh Michigan sweet corn on the cob slathered in butter is the best summer vegetable.
I'm not a corn on the cob guy. I love the taste, but having braces as a middle schooler, man.
But you don't have them anymore.
I know. Whatever it is,
break
just turn
free.
me off. I love the corn off the cob. I don't eat corn.
So
on
what
the
do you
cob.
do? You grab like a butter knife and like.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes. Well, not a butter knife, but like a little.
Have you tried biting since? I mean, come on.
Yes. I just don't love it. I just don't. It's not a good enough taste for me to deal with
what
what
if
comes
it's
in your teeth.
slathered in butter? Terrible word. But
Well, yeah, I would lick the butter, but no, I don't. Yeah, it's
oh my God.
Yeah.
So does Elizabeth kind of do that for you? Like,
well,
if you want...
she knows that I don't eat corn on the cob, right? Yeah, we just don't have it
because you're scared. What, a tooth is going to?
I just don't love it. It's not. I just don't love.
How is that possible?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
un-American. I feel like I usually don't say things like that.
To Sparty Barb's first one, she's talking about MSU hockey lost one of its top incoming players, Klepoff, who was signed with the Anaheim Ducks, and instead of coming here, I think they still have 10. Top picks coming. I mean, 10. They still have 10 first-round picks, 9 first-round picks. I'll have to look at the number, but it's, this is part of the game now, and it's going to happen in hockey, which has weird years in terms of when players sign. You get guys who are drafted and then keep playing. they're going to be fine. This was a guy, though, that I think was going to make an impact. And he was also a guy, from what I understand, would have been around during the World Juniors, which is when they lose a lot of players now. So there's a period of time where they're a little short. But, it's not great, but ultimately the program's in pretty good shape. And everybody's just going to judge about what happens in the NCAA tournament anyway.
David Jackson, number one, handing away those last 2 games against the terrible Royals undid the good of the previous 2 weeks. The season may be over. So, trade Skubal today. 2, time for Hinch to go. Why in the hell in the bottom of the 9th with runners on first and second and nobody out, trailing by 1, didn't Hinch have McGonigal sacrifice and move the runners to second and third with 1 out? As Frank Beckman would say, that's criminal, Jim. It's over. And from Matt Salisbury, the Tigers just need to be done with Skubal. If you actually wanted to be here, you would have signed. Stop saying you want to finish the season, you dingleberry. It really is enough.
It's tiring. It's gotten to the point that it's exhausting, and the whole.
And he should be, Skubal should be mad at his agent, Scott Boras.
And it's not just him, though. I mean, it's the lack of communication, the lack of. I think just the Scott Harris era. Like, Scott Harris to me is way more frustrating than AJ Hinch. AJ Hinch is sure. I understand he hasn't had a great year managing the team, and maybe some, just hasn't pushed the right buttons, and he's done some things that really are question marks. But they're not. He's not the reason they're not good. He's not the reason they're frustrating. He's had a few games that he's contributed to the frustration, and he's had a couple of decisions he continues to make that contribute to the frustration. But Scott Harris has a much bigger part in that, and I think this Skubal thing hanging over the, is just not healthy at this point.
Johnny Freeberg, get rid of all the Tigers relievers. McKinstry and Tanisha are bums. Tanisha?
I don't know.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, you might have misspelled it.
Love you, Johnny. Yep. All right, bonus. I agree. Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. Love you guys. Enjoy listening to your show.
Appreciate you, John. Yeah.
I'm so glad you get to listen to the show, Johnny.
Absolutely.
It's so many times you couldn't figure it out. DM me and ask me how to get the show. Anyway, Scotty Green's El Camino, AJ Hinch. We're a good team with a bad record. Scott Harris. Just because a lot of the names look the same doesn't mean the team is the same. Both of these ass hats can pound sand. Pound sand. Everyone is up for trading except McGonigal, Dingler, Lee, Job, and Olsen. Start over with them. And 2, saw the Odyssey, and I enjoyed it. Here's my top 5 Christopher Nolan films. 1, Interstellar. 2, The Dark Knight. 3, Inception. 4, The Odyssey. And 5, Dunkirk. And 3. Jason, here's what Couch told me. Bulla got caught with D'Antonio's daughter and fears shot himself. Now you know.
These were secrets between us, Scotty. I
knew it, Couch.
Yeah, that's
you're holding out.
Yeah. It's.
I mean, if that is true about Bulla, that would be hard if someone asked you what happened. I guess how do you even give a fake answer?
Yeah, right. For the Tigers. I'll say this: they do have guys, which unlike a few years ago, that are like. Remember a few years ago, you're watching and going, I don't know if they have a single guy, maybe one, maybe Skubal was on the team then. But they didn't have a single guy in the lineup you thought would be part of them when they made the playoffs. That was frustrating. There's not, at least there is some youth to watch. There are guys who you think are part of the answer. They aren't. What's frustrating though is they're just not doing anything to take that next step. But McGonigal is legit. Dingler's had a hell of a year. I mean that's changed. I think some thoughts at that catcher position. I don't know. It's not as hopeless as it sometimes feels. It's just frustrating.
Do you think you could spin zone out of that, the possible Max Bulla thing? Like if you were just like a player and you banged your coaches, like take out D'Antonio and
we're
Bulla.
not saying this is what happened.
Right. Do you think you could spin zone out of it?
100%.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, I'm not. No.
Go ahead, man. You're a player. You banged the coach's daughter.
We were madly in love. Are you getting in the way of love? What else do I need to say?
That's it?
What else would I have to say? I was madly in love with a young woman who happened to be the coach's daughter.
That's transparency right there. Pat Fitz didn't know next. Losing the last 2 games against the Bobby Whitless Royals might be the best thing that's ever happened to the Tigers organization. If the trade deadline strategy isn't crystal clear now, then sell the team, pizza boy.
Do you think, if Chris Ilitch sold the team, do you think people would dance on cars in Detroit?
I would.
Celebrating? Yeah.
in Ovid.
Yeah.
I don't know if I go to Detroit to do it. I don't think people would be dancing and celebrating in downtown Detroit, right? He's not selling it. Some dude, Couch, I am perhaps the last listener or contributor to the show to congratulate you on fatherhood. Please know that you are approaching the perfect age of a baby, which is about 4 months up to mobility. At this age, they are super attentive, can entertain themselves, can't get into trouble by moving around, and should be able to sleep through the night. It's time for the tough love, Couch. Here is some great advice once given to me on this topic. If it cries, it's alive. Jesus.
Appreciate you, some dude. Yeah.
If it. Hot take, a person should reasonably make a case that the Tigers having enough good young starting pitching to not take a huge step back, even if Skubal walks for no compensation. Melton, Mize, Job, Montero, supplement with free agency. And I'm sure they have dudes in the minors, but those four are at least slightly proven. Of course, health matters. They won't trade Skubal.
Again, it's not dire. It's not. It's frustrating because they do have a decent core, and they just haven't, supplemented it as well as they should have.
But the Skubal situation is dire.
It's
dire. It's not where you want to be when you have a franchise guy like this.
It's dragged on, and it's unfortunate because they've had opportunities where they've known this deadline was coming, and they've chosen not to build the roster up to a point that it made sense. I think everybody would be okay with playing out the string with Skubal if they had really gone after it, and it felt like, and even if they'd had some injury bad luck, and they were, the best team in the division, at least talent-wise, and they were, a team that you thought had a chance in the playoffs, and it's like, well, we'll see what happens with Skubal, but this will be 3 straight years they've gone after it. It doesn't feel like that, and so that's why it's incredibly, incredibly frustrating. Let's take a really quick break. When we come back, we will dig into many more of your takes, July takes, and otherwise some really good stuff still to come. Couch in the Roob, our Monday show, presented by our friends at Firekeepers Casino and the Firekeepers Casino and Sportsbook app.
Firekeepers Online Casino and Sportsbook is the site to play from your phone, tablet, or laptop. Get in on all the football action with pre- and in-game wagering. There's showdowns every week in football that you can't miss. Plus, the college and pro hoops are red hot, and the pucks are cool. Get your first casino deposit and sports wager matched up to $500 each. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and located in Michigan. Gambling problem? Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-270-7117.
Zion was a big deal because he was a huge guy. I just broke my chair.
What do you get?
Please like and subscribe to the Couch in the Roob YouTube channel. Also download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtheroob.com.
Come enjoy irresistible, award-winning, handcrafted donuts and locally roasted coffee at Groovy Donuts. Surprise your family or coworkers with special holiday designs and flavors, or put the perfect finishing touch on an event with a custom order. Birthdays, weddings, gender reveals, our friends at Groovy Donuts are your answer. Experience the Groovy Donuts difference for yourself on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamston. Get more information or place an order at groovydonuts.com.
Couch in the Roob, our Monday show, presented by our friends at Firekeepers Casino and Firekeepers Casino and Sportsbook app. Download the app today. There's some great sign-up bonuses. And also, if you're starting to think about football season, week 1 lines are out. Enjoy, get your bets in early or just start thinking about what you want to do, teasers, all that good stuff right around the corner. Jason and I will be doing our weekly shows with all our picks, and maybe we're hoping to have Harry back. If not,
You found him?
I
know where
haven't
he's at?
texted him in a while, but yeah, I would love to have Harry back this year. We miss Harry, and we're hoping he'll be part of us as we break down those games from the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app every week. All right, back to the listener takes.
Alex Meyer next. Number one, as someone who used to work in radio, you absolutely should be able to bust Nolan's chops on the air. That's just part of the gig. And two, it's political ad season, and it's ass.
It's a lot right now. My phone calls, the phone texts.
It's unbelievable.
It's amazing.
I change my vote with every commercial ad.
Yeah.
I'm voting for someone, and then there's the attack ad. I go, well, I guess I'm not voting for them. Then they are their ad. I go, all right, I'm back on. So it's like which one I watch at the end, I'm going to vote for.
Oh, boy.
Except for Perry Johnson. There's no way I could vote for Perry Johnson.
You're why we're where we're at, aren't you? It's just gullible to the last ad. Yeah.
Wait, that's not how you do it?
I do like one of the best things about being a journalist is that you can't sign petitions or do. So people come to the door and they want you to sign this or do this time, whatever initiative.
Oh, God.
You're like, I can't do it. Sorry. It's
Yeah.
We are, I think.
What do you tell them? You probably elaborate, I'm sure.
No, I just say, I say my wife and I are both journalists. We can't.
That's how you say it, though?
Yeah.
I'm sure you say it.
And they know it right
prouder
away.
than that.
No.
Actually, it's unfortunate. My wife and I she's better than me, but we're both journalists, so I can't do it. Sorry, man.
My wife wants to get a no solicitor sign.
Hell yes. You need one.
And I just think it's kind of rude. Like, neighbors are going to think it's about them, but it's not, So I don't know.
Just get a beware the dog. Like Mia passed away a year ago. We keep that sign up there.
The
beware the dog.
That's a good sign. Yeah, it's a good. Yeah,
Norm ain't doing shit. Norm's a lover.
Beware the cat. It
wasn't. It wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Norm's a lover.
See, this is the thing. My wife just texted me a picture of me and Cora, but these are the moments where I get worried she's listening after I say something like that, and I'm like, show's over.
Ralph E. Number one, Big Ten football media days this week. What is that? ZZZ?
Yeah, snooze. Yeah.
2, last week of Daddy Leave. Enjoy it. And 3, from Daddy Leave to August vacation in the UP. Good planning.
Thank you. Well, you have to get your vacation in, too. It's not just you get the leave.
Have you told other people about your vacation?
What do you mean?
It seems like he knows your vacation. You guys
we mentioned it here. Yeah, we're going to Marquette 1 week in August.
Oh, all right.
So, I'll be gone a week in August.
Which one? Are you just going to keep a mystery?
It's like the 10th through the 15th.
Oh, okay.
That week. And I'm back at work next week, so it's cool. Yeah, the Big Ten Media Days. I'm glad not to be there this week. I mean, actually, I probably would have gone.
Where are they?
They're in Chicago. In some years, I've skipped a couple years in a row just because I didn't think they were that important and there's not a lot of value in them. This year, I think there'd be decent value. Not only a new coach in Fitzgerald, I think there's a lot of different sort of coach-player type survey pieces you could do on different things right now that would be worth being there. But just timing-wise, it didn't work. But often it's a snooze.
Munfield Keg next. I was in Toledo this weekend, and the building the Toledo Blade is in. Looks awesome. I guess they're vacating it, though. Have you ever been inside, Graham? I know society wants to shift to working at home, but we also have to help preserve these historic buildings.
Yeah, it's sad when you lose these places. The LSJ has moved from its downtown location out to the Marshall Street Armory, which is also a historic building, which is very cool, and it's a cool new setup we are in there. But this stuff's happening a lot. You just don't have the same people. Nobody has presses anymore, so you just don't need as much space. I have not been inside the Toledo Blade building. I've seen it. I had a friend who worked there years ago. I know people still do work there. Do you think you could just swing by? Toledo Blade? Yeah.
Unannounced, you didn't know anybody. You could just go like,
Hey, by the way, my wife and I are journalists.
I used to go by the Mining Journal in Marquette and just look around and be like, I want to buy this place. And just walk in every time. The thing about the Toledo Blade, I always thought it would be one of the hardest places to be a sports editor because you're in Ohio, which that line separates.
That's the first downfall. Yeah.
But you're right beneath the border, which the state lines create a lot of fandom. But you're 40 miles south of Ann Arbor. You're 40 miles south of Detroit. So you've got Lions, you've got Cleveland Browns fans, you've got the Ohio State is your biggest contingency there. You've also got the University of Toledo people care about to some degree there.
So it sounds awesome.
Well, yes, but you have to figure out what is the big story of the day and what to – yeah, it's great. If you have a big staff, it's awesome. Those are great places to be. But it can be a challenging place to work as well.
The Exxon Valdez of Southern Maine next. Spent a long weekend in Connecticut for softball. I'm convinced after nearly a decade of tournaments in that state, it is irredeemable. It exists only to connect New York to Massachusetts. Plus, New Haven pizza is trash.
Yeah. I have nothing bad to say against Connecticut. It's just meh. I've been there a couple times. It's okay. Been to Hartford last year. It's okay. Nothing great. Yeah.
Alex James, Couch, were you aware that Cars for Kids now will take your unused real estate? Have an extra property you don't need? Donate it to Cars for Kids today.
Man, I hate Cars for Kids.
Property for kids, it doesn't flow well.
I consider myself a fairly ethical person, but I would steal from that charity. I hate that. I hate that jingle so bad. Now it turns out they're fairly corrupt themselves.
That would be your defense in court, though.
Yes.
At the embezzlement trial.
Or the jingle just made me go mad. And if you had the right judge, they'd be like, "Yeah, I get it.
Right.
Like, who cares? Yeah, right. You're free to go."
Lions reply guy, bazooka to the head. Does this iteration of the Lions win a Super Bowl? If they do, who would you give most of the credit to, DC or Holmes? Maybe Jason would even write a heartfelt note to Martha Firestone Ford. Oop. I don't know which one I was going to hit. Oops. Oh, yeah, bazooka time. What's the question now?
Bazooka to the head. Does this iteration of the Lions win a Super Bowl?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Just because otherwise he's going to actually
and
put
Dan
a bazooka
Campbell
to his head.
and Brad Holmes both get credit equally.
Yeah. Yeah.
What am I supposed to no, I don't feel it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just praying. I'm hoping. All right. Steve. Jackson Koiven, rookie and third start, won a PGA event. Waited 1 year until he played the PGA Tour. How much in Auburn NIL compensation do you think he made last year? I mean, it's got to be at least $1 million.
A golfer, you think? Well, some of these golf programs do it pretty well.
Right. I'm going a little conservative. Didn't want to say $3 million. I don't know what value.
That's
I think
question.
with all of his endorsements, it's got to be over $1 million a year.
Yeah, that's the thing is golfers actually, especially if they're playing in tour events and stuff, may have. That's a great question.
But you can't get any money if you're playing as an amateur.
Well, you can't get prize money. You can only get so much prize money. And
Correct.
That's kind of dumb too. But I mean, you think about it. These guys, like this happens with tennis players too. You can get a point guard making $3.5 million on really what's bullshit NIL through media rights crap, and yet a guy goes out and busts his ass in a tennis tournament somewhere professionally that he's allowed to play in, but he can't take all the prize. You know what I mean? It's just it's insane. It's just such a stupid.
Must be so great in college though that you're putting off the PGA Tour for a year though. Man, those facilities. BPA. It's okay to find soccer boring, and it's okay to find golf boring. It's not okay to find soccer boring and golf exciting, especially after this World Cup. It's basically the window seat person who closes their shade the second they sit down. Something's wrong with his medulla oblongata. You talking about me? Is he talking about me? Like, what are you talking about?
Just about people. People like you.
That United States game that they lost. That
was a bad example.
That was a bad game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I was right on that. I didn't really watch. I got to say, the wife had the final on. The second half was exciting. I mean, I don't know. Like, yeah, dude, if you guys want to have fun with soccer, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, and the U.S. team is not the best example. Christian Brock Pulisic and all those guys are not. They just can't. Let's take a quick check on the YouTube chat. What's going on there, my friend Nolan?
A lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff. Let's go to Greg. Greg said, "Would Izzo welcome Kohler and Cooper back if they were granted an extra year?" 11th hour?
In the 11th hour.
Oh, okay. In the 11th hour. At the expense of a couple new big opportunities.
So I don't think I don't think Jackson Kohler is going to wind up back there. He's part of that lawsuit. I spoke to Jeff last week a little bit. And I'm not sure where he's going to wind up. There are a few places that he's looking at if he's able to go. And I'm not sure he 100% wants to do that either, but I just think there's a certain time, and I brought this up last week, I just think there's a time where you've heard the same voices for so long, and it just 4 years is a long time, one place. And I think he had his time at MSU. And I also think when you look at MSU's roster, what that would mean, I don't, he's probably more of a 4, and yet it's Cam Ward's time, right? You bring in Anton Bonk, and I think Cooper would be the one that they would more. It would fit more what they need, and and so you never say never to all this. I think he's got some professional opportunities, but I would be surprised if either one of them came back. But at one point, I think the Cooper thing was especially, I mean, both were into the discussion, but the Cooper especially because of the fit and the need was there.
Yeah, I was seeing a lot of reports about like if Kohler came back to college, he'd go to, I heard BYU because obviously home state, but I think he knows the head coach or like there's a connection there.
That's one of the places that's in consideration. Yep,
Yeah,
for sure.
He's also doing good with the Jazz. I mean, he had a good, preseason or rookie, summer ball league. He did, so did Cooper.
Cooper's a guy, I think, but with both guys, the shame of the 5-year rule, which I don't actually like all that much entirely because I think it takes away, ultimately, if you're not going to add scholarships, it's going to take away opportunities, and it's going to be even harder for high schoolers and all that stuff. But both of those guys fit exactly what it's for. Both of those guys might be a year away from, Kohler was a guy who should have redshirted as a sophomore. Cooper was a guy who should have redshirted as a freshman. They both should be back. And the staff, one of the mistakes they made to those guys, they didn't have the foresight in those moments to think, boy, long term, what's best now is probably not to have these guys play, and because having them back would have made a big difference at the end. And you probably with the Tyson Walker, AJ Hogarth teams weren't going to win a national championship anyway if you had a little deficient somewhere else. But both those guys are like a year away from like the NBA guys will tell Jackson Kohler, for all your defensive efficiencies, if you're like a 40% 3-point shooter at the NBA level, it's 6'9", 6'10", that you're going to have a chance, right? And he's got some offensive game to him, and so he's just got to be that. And another year somewhere playing freely offensively and having a year where it all comes together. And Cooper looked like a guy who was a year away from being a first round pick even. And so both those guys fit what that whole thing was intended for. And I think Cooper will carve out a pretty good might even get in the NBA himself. For Kohler, he's gonna have to hit shots at a very high level to get that opportunity.
Yeah. You talked to Jeff Kohler?
I did. Yeah.
Tell him I said what's up.
I did.
Oh,
yeah.
Thanks, man. I appreciate when you do that. Yeah. Dave Lakin next. I appreciate Jason trying to keep intern Nolan accountable with his non-performance on the Instagram page. I hope that Graham's attempt to cover for Nolan isn't an indication of his parenting skills. Poor little Cora may never learn any discipline.
Not from me. She won't. Yeah. Other than, we play 2 hours of tennis before we hit the homework after school.
Soccer is boring.
Doc Sportello next. Number 1 on the intern. I remember my days as an LSJ intern. Barry Keel got me the gig, and Graham looked right through me when I met him in the newsroom. LOL. That checks out. I can see that. Just kidding. We crossed paths once, but you gave me your phone number and said to reach out if I needed anything. I was a high school football stringer. It sucked. 2, I remember wanting to write more and felt above the intern work because I was an egocentric 21-year-old. I wish someone was stern with me and told me how ill-prepared I was. Jason, we also may have crossed paths when I job shadowed Tim Stout a handful of times in like 2016 or 2017. No, we didn't. That also sucked. I was so bored and he gave me nothing to do. Okay, just sit there. Didn't learn a thing, but I felt like it was counted as experience. Again, I wish someone told me the truth. My message to young Nolan, get out of broadcasting now. It's underpaid and thankless. You'll wish you had the email job that pays 6 figures like your friends. 3, that said, I still work in it, and it at least is way more interesting than what others do. I do believe in the power of journalism, but no one was honest with me about what it takes to make it in sports broadcasting. And you have to be ready to give up all of your life if you want to make it. If you don't, get ready to settle into a low-paying local news job like me where you're understaffed and living in the shell of a dying industry. I sound cynical, but my life isn't too bad, I guess.
Good stuff from Doc there.
You know who that is?
I don't.
Is that
entirely.
Phil Friend?
It's not Phil Friend. No, Phil Friend wasn't. Phil Friend's like our age.
I was about to say Phil could just write in. He doesn't have to go by Doc Sportello.
I
love that he turned it Stout. He didn't Stout in him doing anything. It's like
we could do go either way.
I don't know. If you want to just sit there, it's okay. You ask me a question if you want. Not too many. If you have like 1 or 2 questions, that would be fine. But just keep it to a minimum.
Yeah, it's a tough, like I was like when I was my Atlantic Community College, I took a job as a taking phone calls at the Lansing State Journal and as a stringer, and I really mostly took phone calls, and I quit after the 4 months. I didn't think they were giving me enough opportunities.
LSJ, what do you want?
Yeah, I was just kind of a jerk. I quit 2 hours for a shift. I mean, like, that's
LSJ, I'm above this job. Anyway.
That's part of being a young person is you have no idea how, and then you get somewhere where you start to realize just how much you don't know. And that's the best part.
Someone should have told me back in the day, get out of this profession. I was like, I don't know what else to do.
Well, I have no other skills.
I have any,
right,
that's what I mean. I didn't have any either.
Yeah.
I had I had radio and TV, local television that all were defunct in like 2008. Matty B, number 1, Major League Baseball isn't a 16 seed, making a Sweet 16 and hanging a banner. If you're not a favorite to win the title, Skubal has to go. He had his chance to sign an extension, and I'm tired of hearing him speak. And 2, MSU had 2 ADs in a row say football NIL is important, and they've done nothing to immediately fix that. The next AD has to actually make football spending a priority. The days of try-hard 2-star kids from Ohio are over. Stop waiting on legislation.
Well, it is true that Jay Batt was a big fan of the SCORE Act, right? Which is, I don't think, going to ever pass, and probably naively so. But he also was, not naive in trying to get the finances going in that program. He was. I think you're just wrong there. I think I think he was trying to make things happen and make it a priority. It's you can't click your heels, right? It's just not how it works. But the next AD will be, a critical hire, as the last one was, as Alan Haller was. And there are things that Alan Haller did that will, there's a chance that if things work out with Pat Fitzgerald and with Spartan Ventures, that Jay Batt winds up being a really good hire, however short-lived that was. There is a chance if that happens, and what Alan Haller did in hiring Jonathan Smith doesn't wind up being detrimental to the program long term, some of the other things he did there and emphasis and making other programs feel cared about and just putting resources into them in ways that they had been ignored, I think could really be beneficial long term for them. So there is a chance that 3-5 years from now that those ADs had their strengths that ultimately helped the athletic department be in a really good place, even if they also had their deficiencies. In Jay Batt's case, he took off. In Alan Haller's case, he hired the wrong football coach, and it delayed things, if not set the department back.
Jonathan Smith's burner, number 1, Coney dogs stink. Basically pig slop on a hot dog bun. And 2, Jim Comparoni was my baseball coach a few years ago. He's a top 10 dude of all time. What a legend.
A few years ago. What level is Comparoni coaching?
About to say.
Yeah.
Unless Jonathan Smith's burner is like 17 years old or something.
Yeah, that's true. That's all. Yeah, then it might have been like 12 years old.
Top 10 dude of all time.
That's
incredible. The other 9.
Yeah. Still, that's pretty good.
Where's Comp 1?
I like Comp. Comp and I get along.
Who doesn't like Comp?
We complain about the same things.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bob in Fort Myers. Number 1 for us hockey casuals. How big of a loss is Nikita Klepov to Spartan hockey? Is it up there with, say, if Jeremy Fears had stayed declared for the NBA draft?
No, because there's just way more talent on the Spartan hockey roster, and there are no, it's not close. It would be, it's just not. If say they had like 5 other guards who were really, really good, and Jeremy Fears left, that's more of that. I think it's a loss. He was somebody that I think would have been a really good player. It's not a nothing. He was a big time get.
Frank Vachner next. What's the longest day you've spent at a venue for a sporting event? I was at Adrian College for 14 hours on Saturday announcing baseball. Whew. Multiple delays and protests filled among 5 games. The protests were teams making mountains out of fly shit. And bonus, congrats to Kingsford American Legion Post 363 Greens.
Hell yeah.
For winning the Michigan American Legion Class A State Baseball Championship.
Hey, man, there was a time before we had page view metrics. That's what you did in the summer. You covered Legion baseball, and then people realized nobody gave a shit. And that was unfortunate for Legion baseball.
Wow.
I'm talking about like the greater, nobody wanted that as their cover to their sports section is what I'm saying. Now, you can argue that kind of community journalism is why, and the lack thereof is why we've also fallen apart. I don't know what I'm just giving you a tangent here late in the show. If longest I've done, most MSU football days for me, and I usually, if I'm either back at the hotel or at home when I work on the second column, but it's like those are generally about 14 hours days. I mean, they're not bad days. They're just fairly long by the time everything's done.
Another sports writer complaining.
Yeah,
about
I'm not
his job.
complaining at all. There's some state track days back in my days covering preps when you cover big events late and you got to travel certain place. Yeah, they're long days. That's just part of the gig. Some of it's fun though. I mean, I would say that some of it, Frank, I bet you enjoyed parts of that day, even if it dragged down at certain times.
Yeah, but it's dragging on because of all these BS or these parents with their issues. That has to be complete ass. Because as a writer, at least you can,
I've been
put a blurb in about it and not have to be around it all day.
I've been locked in a lot of press boxes and a lot of stadiums and things like that because I'm the last guy out. I'm not the fastest writer, and I often you're the columnist covering something that, I'll give you an example. I'm covering Western Michigan back when I lived in Kalamazoo, by the way.
No kidding.
And Western Michigan's playing at Temple football, Lincoln Financial Field, where the Eagles play. And at the same night, the Phillies win the World Series, just 100 yards away, and you can see the fireworks and all that stuff. And not that many people cover Temple football in Philadelphia. So you get a few writers, they write their one game story, they're out. I'm writing 5 stories off the game for the Kalamazoo Gazette. So I'm the last guy in the box. And they're, stadiums, nobody's in the stadium. I couldn't find my way out. I had to shimmy under a fence. It was just so that was
felt all of Fred
hours. But all that was fun. I mean, it was I enjoyed every second of that.
Couch on Fire from 2 from last week's shows. Number 1, best golf moment. Crowded first tee, par 3, 7-iron. 1 bounce off the pin and dropped 2 inches from the hole. Oh, what could have been. Closest I ever came. And 2, my grandparents wanted my parents to name me either Poindexter or Felix. Yikes.
I like Felix as a name, though.
Poindexter's not a name. Is that real?
I don't know if it's a real
There's
name.
no one. I've never heard anybody No, come on.
I think Felix is a good name, though. I like Felix as a name. Yeah,
you get away with that. Yeah,
Felix is a good name.
Poindexter. Pointy. Hans, number 1. I'm on vacation in South Dakota. Reply below with your restaurant and donut suggestions. 2, I'm giving Graham a vacation from my insults. And 3, Fitzgerald knows how to beat scrub Big Ten schools. We have many on our schedule, and we'll go 8-4. Alamo Bowl.
There you go. That's all people want. That sort of positivity, Hans. Enjoy South Dakota. I've never been. I've always wanted to go. I've always wanted to be in the
Dakota. You have?
I've never been there.
Are you a biker? Why would you want to go to that?
Well, Sioux Falls, that whole area. The whole Dakotas, that area, Montana, as you go west. I'd like to go to all those places. Never been. I'd always thought that maybe a hockey regional would be out there, and I could get to go out there. And Solari tells me about it all the time. He worked in Sioux Falls, and he'll tell you about it, like I tell you about Kalamazoo.
Graham.
Jake Hawkins next. Number 1, WTF Tigers. Take 2 out of 3 against the Cubs, but break even at home with the Royals without their best player and only put up 12 runs in 4 games. Tigers' offense is similar to 2018 MSU football, like an old used car that just sputters when you turn the key and the ignition to start up. And 2, I'm also what the fuck is going on with Tom Brady. But maybe he's upset about his ex-wife cheating on him with his kid's karate teacher. Perhaps he should take a page out of the Bill Belichick's playbook, go to the nearest college campus and get himself an 18 to 21-year-old girlfriend. Just don't hire Michael Lombardi, am I right? 3, LeBron going. Who would have known that guy's a creep? There's no way. It's so shocking. 3, LeBron going to Philly. Cool. Trajan Langdon, I hope it was worth it to tease us about the potential big splash move for the Pistons, only to sign and trade for guys who come off the bench. Pistons are starting to feel like maybe the 4th, possibly 5th or 6th best team in the East.
Well, the East is loaded. John Collins will start, but so he's not just on the bench. But yeah, there hasn't been the move. I think the Trey Murphy asking price has been too high. They've tried to keep some flexibility. I still think something big could happen during the season because they need to do it before Asar Thompson's deal kicks in, which would be more, I believe, than you see with Jalen Duren. And that's the problem with Duren. If you sign him and then you sign Asar Thompson, some of that flexibility goes away. So you have to make these moves first. It is frustrating. I'm not denying. But yeah, you look at the East. Everybody, even like Indiana, gets their star back from a torn Achilles, and they're legitimate again. And Philadelphia, the Knicks just won the title. Cleveland, Boston. it's Miami's got Giannis. I think the Pistons will still be a really good team, but there's a lot of good teams in the East.
And lastly, from the jerk guy, aliens have visited Earth and deemed us all too stupid and violent and quarantined the planet, and that is why we don't get signals or contact.
He's been waiting to say that until we get the July Take show. We appreciate you, Upper Deck Jerk guy. It's very possible.
It's a good bake take.
It's a great bake take.
God bless you, my child.
Yeah. Nice sneeze there from the intern to round out the
Doesn't
show.
even cover his face.
Yeah.
This kid.
That's all right. Cora sneezes in my face all the time. We're good. Yeah.
Couch is weirded out now.
I'll survive. Thank you for producing our show as always, and always listening through every July and whenever it. You guys are the best. We will be back maybe middle of the week, Friday for sure. Got to figure out some stuff middle of the week, but we'll be back once more this week for sure. Jason will report back after that on from the Rocket Mortgage Classic.
Yep.
Big Ten Media Day, Football Media Days. We'll have some updates from there from the middle of the week as well. We appreciate Firekeepers and the Firekeepers Eye Casino and Sportsbook app. Thank you, Nolan.
Yeah, man.
Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Couch in the Roof.